Hi guys, with my misshapen claw. As you all know, if you'd watch my TikTok, you'll know I've slept on it. Funny, and it's still a bit numb. Yes, I will go and get it checked out at some point. It is feeling better. So this is a timeline from Has and Meggy Poos from 2022 until now. Let's dive in. Everything I talk about in my videos is my opinion only, so sit back, relax, grab yourself a cuppa or a drink of your choice and enjoy. So in June of 2022 we had Queen Elizabeth the late Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, and I would say that is so impressive. So Has and Meggy Poos did attend and tried to keep a low profile. Now apparently this is where the late Queen met Lily. I'm not going to call her by that name, I'm sorry. So apparently she met Lily. There's conflicting reports about this, so please fact check me if she did actually meet Lily or not, because in my opinion, I don't think she did meet her at all. Apparently, they were on very good terms. I don't think they were. Recollections may vary. Oh, I said it right. Anyway, so we all know how bad I am at pronunciation. Anyway, another thing I remember from the Jubilee was Has and Meggy Poos walking down the steps and the bells having to be played louder because they were being booed so loudly. And this is why Meggy Poos has not been back to the UK, as her narc will just not allow it, in my very strong opinion. Now, I think it was at this Jubilee where Has and Meggy Poos used the Tyndall children to be seen and be papped as they weren't allowed on the balcony. I don't think Zara and Mike Tyndall took very kindly to this. We all know that Mike Tyndall called him an effing wanker. Which he is. Now in September of 2022 we had Queen Elizabeth II passing. Wow. This was such a, like I always say, a punch in the gut for everyone. Even though she was at age, we didn't know she had bone cancer. Has and Meggy Poos didn't know she had bone cancer. She did look very frail on a final meeting with, I forgot what that Prime Minister was because they were only there for 5 minutes. She did look very frail. She was at Balmoral. She was dying, and Has was invited, and he allegedly got into an argument with Meggy Poos because she wanted to be there. How does she expect to be there at such an intimate time for the royal family after everything, you know? So they got into this argument and Has missed it. Has missed his grandmother's passing due to an argument with his wife because she wanted to be there. They also did a walkabout with the Prince and Princess of Wales. Now, the reason behind this, again, allegedly, we all know this is probably facts, but allegedly they wanted to take their own paps with them. And the Prince and Princess of Wales, quite rightly, wouldn't allow this, so they did do a walkabout together. Now you will see Meggy Poos pushing away royal aides so she can grab flowers for herself, looking all compassionate and sad. Oh, everything you've done to the Queen and you're so sad. Oh, Meggy Poos, oh, you're such a victim. She annoyed me so much, the fact that she was even there in the first place. I would say the only victims in this was the Prince and Princess of Wales and all the children of the Queen, King Charles being the main one. We all saw how deeply upset he was, and people really went in on him for just after he'd lost his mother, and he was getting animated about a pen, and people were like, "Oh, King Charles is so awful."
Oh God, I hate this. Oh look, it's going everywhere. It's only the English one. Where is that? Oh look, it's everywhere. Can't bear this bloody thing. What they do, everyone's stinking.
He just lost his mother, and a pen didn't work, and yes, he got animated. I would too. Now, something extremely disgraceful is of December of 2022, we had the release of the cringeworthy, vomit-inducing docu-series of the reality TV show of Has and Meggie Poo's whinging and complaining. Now, what is so disgraceful is that even though they knew the Queen was going to pass at that time in June, they didn't know in December that she was going to pass. They thought, and they didn't halt it at all, that she'd see this, knowing her health stance. That is a disgrace. It's almost like, how effing dare they do that to our lovely late Queen, who was just a grandmother, I would say, to not just to the nation, I would say internationally, especially to the Commonwealth. She's a grandmother to all of us. We've all grown up with her. And I would say the fact that they thought she was going to see this and the things that they did was disgusting. So yes, another disgraceful thing by Has and Meggie Poos. So I'm jumping forward, sorry, a little bit here now. I've gone in on the release of the docu-series. So the business ventures that was mysteriously set up already. So they had 20 mil from Spotify and 100 mil from Netflix. So let's have a little talk about this reality TV show they put out there. So firstly, it was highly viewed as people initially wanted to hear what they had to say. Also, I would say people in the States definitely got the number after this. And also the Hollywood elite that they thought they were in also got the number on this, as it seems they cannot be trusted in any kind of private setting that a lot of the Hollywood elite really value. And I don't think they would appreciate having paps called on them all the time as she does. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go through it all because there is a lot said, wasn't there? But let's have a little chat about Meggie Poo's comparing meeting the late Queen to a kind of, I mean, I went to one in Benidorm, so that says it all. You know, one of them medieval shows where you get like really awful food. I remember biting into some chicken and grease just running all down it. So that's what she compared meeting the late Queen to. And let's talk about the curtsy that she did. And let's talk about Has's face after she did that. And he said, nada. He did not look happy when she did that. And also comparing his grandmother to a medieval show that's, again, I saw in Benidorm, which says it all. So, yeah, he really didn't look happy. But, again, doesn't speak up to his wife, does he? And I know I'm not doing this in order, but let's talk about the beginning with the very contrived, oh, have you seen this Meggie Poos? I know she said Meghan Markle or Meghan, I don't know. But anyway, have you seen this Meggie Poos? And it was some interview that she'd had. Yeah. Oh, what did I say? Olivia Pope? Oh, yeah, Olivia Pope. Oh. And then a question was asked, who would you rather, Prince Harry or Prince William? And she was like, I don't know. And the interviewer said, Harry. She was like, Harry, sure. Proving further, she knew about the royal family. Very much so. And then we had Has saying that the royal family had planted stories about Meggie Poos in order to make way for Queen Camilla to become queen at the time. I mean, what? As if they'd ever do that. Now, we also got a slight insight of Meggie Pooh's personality behind closed doors, as has got a text from his brother about the bullying allegations, and Meggie Pooh says, "Here's your brother, you gotta tell him." Oh, cameras are there. Oh, better walk away. Oh, I don't know why that wasn't edited out, but a lot of things should have been edited out on that, I would say. Also, a friend of theirs on the Netflix reality TV show said that the Queen's legacy, the Commonwealth, which is voluntary, the British Empire 2.0. Now, Meggie Pooh's got all the Commonwealth stitched into her wedding dress. So, hypocrisy once again. Now let's talk about Spotify, the lazy effing grifters. So they were dropped, quite rightly so, due to Meggie Pooh's very lazy work, as we got a very boring word salad spiel at the beginning that no one could ever understand, and then she would only edit in her voice when it was not like an important guest, but she'd be there if it was someone like Mariah Carey, as she was, or I think Beyonce was one of them also. I mean, I didn't listen to it. If I wanted to go to sleep, I would listen to it. So yeah, they were dropped. Very lazy work. I think they wanted Haz. Now, they had the very contrived Haz walking in and saying hi, and that's it. I don't think they wanted Meggie Pooh's. They wanted Haz. He's the royal. If we're going to call him royal, he's the royal. We've always known him as Prince Harry. Prince Haz, as I call him, or Haz. But he's the actual royal, you know? So yeah, very embarrassingly dropped. And this is where people were starting to see them as an absolute joke. And also, yes, they were quite rightly dropped, as they got a deal for 20 mil for that piece of shiz. So, yeah, quite rightly dropped. Let's talk about the really boring content that they're going to put out on Netflix. So we've got Haz doing his polo. Now, this is a very elite, boring sport, so absolute snooze fest. But Haz has not been the kindest to horses in the past. As we know, he's kicked him so hard as it's drawn blood. Also, there was a pregnant horse, and he was advised not to ride this horse, quite rightly so, and the horse was killed, and the mule. And we've got Meggie Pooh's doing her bit of cooking and gardening and talking to friends. I would say these friends are people who've helped her social climb. But what I'm going to actually mention is when she hijacked the red carpet at the Los Angeles Children's Hospital Gala that I did a full YouTube on, I welcome you to watch, she said, "I've got friends from high school." No, you've not, as proved by Tom Bauer, Nikki Priddy and Lady C. Have they been sued? Nope. And we know how litigation happy they are. So I do not see this being very well received at all. And I do absolutely see them being dropped by Netflix also. So here in 2024, let's talk about their family dynamic, shall we? So Haz has made brief appearances in the UK, mainly packed outside courts when other celebrities were taking private entrances. Also, their cringeworthy attempts to cosplay the royal family by going on these royal tours, jolly holidays as I call them. They're not royal tours. They don't do anything that royals do on them tours. They take their own paps with them. They don't meet people in poverty. When Meggie Pooh's was once Maltese, she went to Malta, and then all of a sudden she hijacked the Invictus Games in Germany, and she was 43% Nigerian. She knew what she was doing. She knew she'd get an invite to Nigeria after that. And it was all about anointing Meggie Pooh's as a Nigerian princess. she did not talk once about any of the violations against women in Nigeria, or meet and greet anyone in poverty, or talk about the Invictus Games. None of that happened. Neither did it in Colombia. They just talked about this Parents Network, which also I've done a full YouTube on, which I welcome you to watch as I really deep dive into it. Now, I can't get through this video without mentioning Maggie Poo's attempt to become the face of Dior. So she leaked that she was going to be the face of Dior, and Dior had to come out with a very embarrassing statement for her to say she's absolutely got nothing to do with Dior. Another thing that didn't go well for them at all was the absolutely brilliant South Park episode, which, if you've not seen it, I please welcome you to watch. They said it was the Prince and Princess of Canada, but we all know who they were talking about, and they really had their number. I mean, it's we want privacy, and it was so brilliant. Another thing I'm going to add in 2024, if you look at a lot of the pictures, especially on these jolly holidays, has, again, the royal. Maggie Poo's is not a royal in any way, shape or form. Her face thinks she is, but she isn't. Anyway, Has is very much faded into the background, and he's the royal, and Maggie Poo's front and centre. What is that about? I mean, I've always said this was a showmance for a long time, as they're not seen together much anymore. Has apparently is trying to pick up some royal duties in the UK. Obviously, his family will take him back to an extent, but they can't trust him in certain role folds. I don't know if Prince William's going to forgive him after Endgame and Spare. Who can blame him? And I haven't spoken about Spare, actually. And one thing I will say about it is King Charles did warn Has not to go in on Camilla, and he absolutely did. He actually called her the villain of the family. Disgusting. I would say she's earned her wings. Yes, she was very much hated in the 90s after the late Princess Diana died. I was on that bandwagon also, but I would really say she's earned her wings now, and I very much respect her as our queen. Couple of things. See, liars have to have a very good memory, don't they? Because Has said about Queen Camilla before he met Maggie Poo's that he highly respected her as his stepmother. And all of a sudden then, she's a villain of the family. And then we had Endgame. So we had the creepy, disgusting, where he squirmed around on This Morning, Omid Scobie. And he branded himself a royal commentator. Nope, you were just Has and Maggie Poo's mouthpiece. That's all you were. And the Dutch version. So that's where King Charles and the Princess of Wales are named as the racists. And Omid Scobie blamed it on the editor who values her privacy and was just surrounded by the media all of a sudden. And she really valued her privacy. She absolutely did not add them names. What would she gain from that? So that was contrived. They wanted them named in some version. It came out in the Dutch version. And that Omid Scobie, Has and Maggie Poo's absolutely wanted that. And the fact that they named King Charles and the Princess of Wales as the royal racists is ridiculous. They are not racist. Also, 2 years after his memoir of war, we had his 3 interviews where he said on the Oprah interview where racism absolutely was highly implied, and they said they're not going to mention any names, but he said it was unconscious bias after 2 years. And even, I've forgotten his name, oh please tell me in the comments, Tom Bradbury. So is it Tom Bradbury? I think it is. So Tom Bradbury interviewed him And all of a sudden, when he said unconscious bias, it was the media who put, oh yeah, it's the British media's fault, they put that out. No, they were repeating what you said, actually. So basically, he blamed the British media and said, no, it's the British media that put that out. I would say it was unconscious bias. So Tom Bradbury then says, well, you were saying there was concerns about Archie's skin tone. Would you not say that was racism? And he said, no, not after living in that family. Why didn't you say that on the Oprah interview? Well, the Oprah interview. I would say it was just a tell-all. Now, I've said this is a showmance for a long, long time, especially recently, where Maggie Poos is normally pouring at Has all the time. And if you look at the Parents Network interview, even when she puts her hand on him, he does not even look at it. He doesn't respond in any way, shape or form. Also, if you look at the way he's looking at it in Nigeria, in Colombia, when it's not contrived pics by their paps, when it's just selfies and stuff like that, if you look at the way he's looking at her, doesn't look happy. So these are the things why I think it's a showmance. So the P. Diddy and Has lawsuit. Now, I will do a full YouTube on this when more information comes out. But we all know they were connected. And we all know he invited P. Diddy. I mean, I know the song Missing You, but is that appropriate for benefit concert for the late Princess Diana? I would say absolutely not. So the disgusting P. Diddy likes to think himself as the king. So he was obsessed with Prince Has. He was obsessed with him. So Has was at a lot of parties in the noughties. Now, I know Prince William has been seen on a couple of pictures, but he's not been named on the lawsuit. Has was the only one. Why? We all have to wonder. And lastly, we had that very strange Poppy video where they're talking about the Parents Network. Maggie Poos, now I don't know if she does this kind of thing on purpose. I think, so basically, I don't know, fact check me, you guys in the States. Do you wear poppies generally, or is that a British thing? Because I know you have Veterans Day over there, but I don't know if you wear poppies for it. So I would say Maggie Poos not wearing a poppy properly is highly offensive. Has had his on right, and they were doing a spiel about the Parents Network. I wanted to say, Has, blink twice if you need help, as it looked like a hostage video. They were stood so far apart, she wasn't pouring at him at all. So these are the reasons, again, why I think this is a showmance. Also, you'll see the mask looks from Maggie Poos on this weird Poppy Parents Network spiel that they were doing, the weird video. Every time Has spoke, she fired a look at him. Every time. So I really welcome you guys again to watch that video. So anyway, guys, that's it for me today. I can't even say much love, so I'll do it with one hand. Much love, guys. Please drop a comment. I really love interacting with you guys, and I know the guys that support me, I love interacting with you so much. Much love.